This is WAW. What a week.
What a week. Politricks.
Eta, welcome to WAW What a Week, hashtag Politricks. I'm fresh, he is Botsang, and you are most welcome as always. 82,000 people moved across the border in weeks. 293 million rand that was not budgeted for, and about 200 million of it spent on buses. And surely Malawi, Nigeria, Ethiopia should get an invoice. Or not. We'll find out from Botsang. Also, 500 million rand for Spaza shops or tuck shops, if you want to call them that. 16 months. 57 million paid out. 930 owners. We'll ask Botsang what he thinks. And in Pretoria, a police watchdog tells a judge the task's team in KwaZulu-Natal go out to kill. 149 deaths on file so far. So, let's get into this week. It's a crazy week. Botsang, how you doing?
Hey, Fresh, good morning, monitor viewers. I'm not that well, as you can hear my voice.
Yes.
The cold of this week. But I don't have privileges like Suleiman Karim to can tell you and Trevor and Geleto and the viewers that I can't be here because of my health reason.
Yes, sir.
Some people have privileges in this country. We saw Suleiman Karim was on Friday supposed for the second time to appear before the Madlanga Commission. He just wrote to them and they sent a medical report and said, no, I'm unfit to can talk. I wonder what kind of medical illness. But we'll get to that. But I'm okay, my brother. Morning to you.
That's good.
And the viewers.
King David is a guy we both know very well. Who is King David, for those that don't know? And why should we be clapping for him?
Actually, King David is actually one of your followers. He told me when I got to know him through you.
Yes.
Through your radio show.
Yes.
Sometimes last year, you even hosted us with him at my place and the team from a radio station and advocating training. That's actually key for people who always hear King David on your show. It's Advocate David Mtsweni. And he has been, nominated and by the Tshwane Bar of Advocates to become a senior counsel. So we've got a senior counsel amongst our buddies, bro. And congratulations to King David. As to become an SC. For those in the legal fraternity, they will know that it is not easy to become an SC. If you remember during the Malawi Commission, one of the things that President Ramaphosa at that time uttered when he was being grilled by advocate, what is his name, Dali Mpofu. President Ramaphosa went on to say, but Dali can't be doing this. He even begged me or asked me to help him to become a senior counsel because he was an advocate for many years. So it is not in the legal fraternity an easy thing to arrive at a point where you become a senior counsel. And for a guy like, David Mtsweni, advocate Mtsweni, at under age of 50 to become an SC, it's a great achievement.
So for those that know nothing about the legal fraternity, what's an SC?
There is a senior counsel. It's the highest ranking level of being an advocate of the High Court. Okay. And Advocate Mtsweni has Advocate Mtsweni SC now.
Yes.
Was one of the evidence leaders in the inquiry of Advocate Chauke, the Deputy Public Protector of Gauteng. And he was one of the leading evidence leaders. So congratulations to him.
So surely, because he's 15, ne?
Yeah.
So he's 3 years younger than us.
Yes.
Had I not dropped out of law school at 20, I'd probably be an SC.
You'd have been an SC at 35. The way you like law. You'd have been an SC at 30. See, dropping out of school, out of studies is not the nicest thing. Yeah, but congratulations to Advocate Mtsweni and the other members of the Tshwane Bar.
Yeah, well done, King David.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And by the way, I don't know why you first dumped Jeep and you've been having a nice time with your Kia and your bike.
No, I didn't dump Jeep. My Jeep is still there at the house. I bought that Jeep in 2002. It only has 80,000 on the dial.
No,
Because she only comes out on special occasions.
No, you're very bad. You don't park a car. The kilometers must move. Don't be like old people.
No, she moves, but she moves just to remind her that you're still a Jeep with a 4-liter engine.
Yeah, with the fuel price. Anyway, I saw you rocking in this morning with an electric vehicle, the EV, the Volvo EV.
Yes. Actually, funny enough, Volvo dropped off one of the EVs last week. And they said, listen, go try this and let us know what you think. Give us your opinions, your thoughts on said EV. So that's what I did. I took it for a week. I was playing in Magiani last week, Saturday.
Yeah.
And
so you had it already last week?
I had it last week, Friday.
Okay.
So the first thing I did was Google charging points between Johannesburg and Polokwane.
Yeah.
And the zero.
Zero?
The last infrastructure you will encounter as you leave Pretoria.
No, Fresh, that's risky.
And then from there, it's a 3-hour drive max. If you're driving at 120, you'll get to Polokwane in 3 hours. If you're driving at 120. And what driving a full EV has taught me is you're forced to plan logistics to the T. So
because you don't want to be
is
stuck
there
on
a charge point where I'm going? If I drive at this speed, how much battery is left when I get where I'm going? So basically, so I put in cruise control 120, got to PLK, and then there's a new charge point at Mall of the North.
Okay.
So you sit and... So depending on if you're not charged to 100% or not.
Or not.
Charging takes about an hour or less.
Okay, that's not...
From about 10%.
You can have lunch while you are charging.
Hence, I'm saying that it forces you to plan everything. You plan, what am I going to do? I might be stuck here. So what am I doing? You see.
The difficulty may also be if you arrive at a charge point and you have planned an hour or so to
I found
charge,
two people charging.
There are other people charging.
I found 2 people charging. And so went to hotel, checked in, and then went back and charged for 45 minutes, filled up the battery enough that I can drive from Polokwane to Kiani and back. And then sleep, wake up in the morning, go and charge to top up, and then come to Joburg. So for me, the logistics of the thing is the nightmare. And I don't think there's enough infrastructure yet for me personally. But for a runaround in the city, I think going EV is probably the best thing you could do for yourself. I mean, I've probably saved in 1 week easily almost 10,000 rand of not pouring fuel. Yes. And most EVs that you get come with free charging for between 1 year and 3 years. So for 1 year to 3 years, depending on the deal you get and the car you get, you're not charging for 3 years. I mean, you're not paying for charging.
You're not paying for charging for 3 years.
Absolutely. So I was in the Volvo ES90. The ES90 it's luxury. It's a luxurious battery.
Yes, actually, when you parked, when you pulled through this morning, I couldn't actually hear that you parked because I was sitting in the car.
You don't hear it.
And I only realized when you were there that I go, why is Fresh in this electric car?
What I find wild is you have a key. There's like a
remote, cutlass.
It stays in your pocket. Yeah. Or you can create a key on your phone.
Wow.
So your phone becomes the key. So when you approach the car, it lets you in. When you leave the car, it locks itself. So for instance, every morning I go to work at 3:30. It's cold, it's winter. Normally I wake up, I go outside, start car, warm up the car, and I get ready. You can literally set that Monday to Friday at 3:30, warm the car for 30 minutes, warm the steering wheel, warm the seat. When you walk in, it's ready.
Nice. Thumbs up to Volvo.
So for me, the bells and whistles are incredible. I mean, it does 0 to 100 in 6 seconds.
That is still as power like a normal.
It's crazy. Unfortunately, the more power you use or the more you press, the more battery you drain.
Battery drains.
You see, so it also teaches you restraint.
What is it, those ones that, look, I'm not good in technology and cars, but the ones that they talk about, I know Pool has been, my cousin has been a Volvo person for many years.
Yes. We're also a Volvo family.
Yeah.
We're a station wagon.
But he left Volvo because I introduced him to Lexus.
Yes.
And now he moved to Lexus. Now he even overtook me. He bought a Lexus but it's not full electric.
It's a hybrid.
It's a hybrid.
Yes.
So there's those cars, and I don't know if Volvo has something like that. As you drive it, it charges itself.
It charges. It uses that energy to energize the thing.
Don't you think there's a better one than
Some people
for risk because of lack of infrastructure?
For risk, but
in
like
the
I'm
country?
saying, if you're driving in and around town, it's fine. I mean, I know people that have taken an EV all the way to Cape Town. They just planned their trip to make sure that I drive at a speed that allows me to get to the next infrastructure. And God forbid that infrastructure has spine, and then you're in trouble. So maybe there's an opportunity for you to build a Fenta trailer. That's actually just one big battery.
that I park it somewhere on the highways. to
No,
assist
you
people.
pull the trailer. Obviously, it's going to use
Oh,
up.
you mean
As in a
as
battery
an
on the road.
EV driver, then you pull a trailer.
You pull your own battery. Why the hell not? But like I said, the bells and whistles are incredible. It's got cameras everywhere. So the minute you leave a lane, it will pull you back in. It literally pulls you back in. If it sees you're going to hit something, it literally will stop for you. If you are dozing off, it will say to your rest.
You must have had a nice drive.
My only issue with it is because it fully integrates with your Google account. I worry about, can people hack into your car?
No, this thing of, I see a lot of things fresh now. Everything, I go to Google, I find things that I never thought they'd be there. My Google account says pictures and
Yes.
videos from my
Yep.
phone into the
Yep.
account.
Yeah.
And I'm one of the people who are very paranoid about my personal information.
Sure.
Being in the system. For example, I don't buy anything online by card.
Sure.
I don't even have an Uber or whatever account because
Yes.
I am afraid of giving my details in the platforms and networks. When I use Uber or Bolt, I always use you or I phone my sister because I don't want to be giving my information. I feel very paranoid about
No, I feel you. I feel you. But I think test drive an EV and decide what you want to decide. But shout out to Volvo. The ES90 is incredible luxury. It's all every bell and whistle you need in a car is there.
Okay.
So yeah, I think check it out. In fact, we'll play the ad for you to check out and you make up your mind. But yeah, Le Blind. Let's talk buses now.
Yes, sir.
Since we're talking transport. Government deported just under 100,000 people. But the cost was almost 300 million rand, and just over 200 million rand of that was on transport. In fact, driving to Polokwane, I passed 5 Malawi buses because they're huge.
Yeah.
And then the trailer is half the size of the bus.
Yes.
And so they're driving at about 80 k's an hour. And I'm told that a lot of the buses that are going to Malawi have 2 drivers. They alternate. One rests, one drives. But it's still a 3-day trip. Yes.
It is actually a prerequisite. The cross-border transport. That
Oh yeah, you worked cross-border.
Yes. In international travel or regional travel for buses and trucks, they must have a driver and a co-driver.
Sure.
For resting purposes and alternating purposes.
And hopefully when the one is driving, the one is resting.
Hopefully, let's hope so. But Fresh, this we have, and I've said it before. At times, we'll question who is funding Jacinta Ngobese Zuma, who's funding them. People will say it's the Zionist Israel and all that. But South Africa must start to face reality.
What is the reality?
The reality is if Jacinta Ngobese Zuma and whoever was supporting and working with her and the March on March gang or group, whatever you call them, if they did not do what they did, if they did not stand up to do what they did, would have not known the level of challenges and the numbers of illegal, undocumented foreign immigrants in South Africa. The government has been in denial. People try to hide behind xenophobia about this whole thing. And the March on March thing has actually, it has nothing to do with xenophobia. It has everything to do with a battle for social services, a battle for the economy, no matter how small the economy is, a battle for jobs, and anything else.
And to be law-abiding.
Yes. Now look at our government, how it reacts as they always do, knee-jerk reaction, and in a government that has been claiming that they don't have money to can fund the South African National Defence Force to can man our borderline. The other time we had Dr. Masia Pato, the Commissioner of the Border Management Authority, in this platform, and he was talking about this biggest challenge, its lack of resources, which is finances and personnel, to can manage the borders themselves, not the borderline. And there's no money. But then, boom, due to one action or incident of a protest by a lobby group or a protest group or a civic society movement organization, they decide, come the 30th of June 2026, we are going to chase undocumented foreign nationals out of the country. The government reacts. The government reacts.
But government reacting to pressure.
Yes, it's pressure. It's pressure.
But that's democracy.
This is the beauty of a South African democracy, because it is not in all countries where they claim to be democratic.
Yes.
That they do. But when you look at it, look at the USA fresh. It is the government or the administration of Trump that legally or illegally, wrongly or so, that went on to trump on foreign nationals, even those that were documented to be there. In South Africa, the government is not doing its job. Then comes a pressure from a civic society movement to put government to pressure to say these people must go. Then other African states react as well, politically, diplomatically, as well as say, can we have our citizens back? You know, the other day when we discussed this thing, I said to you, as much as I've worked in the diplomatic field, immigration, consular, as well as border management, I never imagined the number of Malawian nationals in South Africa. This, being a government official, I was caught off guard. I was shocked. I knew Zimbabweans, Mozambicans, Basotho, Nigerians. I never imagined that we have so many Malawians in South Africa.
But there's always been a massive Malawian contingent.
Historically,
yes.
For the mining, people who claim as mining migrants. But the number of Malawians who are integrated into the society, living, having Spaza shops and all those things in South Africa, I was shocked. But the government reacts fresh. The government that can't render basic services to communities. The government that can fund the Border Management Authority, can fund the South African National Defence Force, to can police our borderline and to can manage our borders. They come and they have 300 million rands. That is what has been spent so far. The process is not complete. It's not even 2 months. If you recall that this thing started the last week of June, after the 16th of June, it started in order to chase the date of the 30th of June. And in less than 2 months, the government has raised 300 million to can transport undocumented foreign nationals to various countries in Africa. And we bear the cost. And as you said, the benefactors become the transporters.
What law would allow DERCO or Home Affairs to bill a sovereign state? Is there provision for such?
We don't have that provision in the Republic of South Africa. There's no law. And even in our foreign policy. What they have done now, and I've heard the Minister of Home Affairs saying they have billed, they've submitted bills to Ethiopia, Malawi, and Nigeria. And I don't know why those countries. Maybe it's because they
maybe it's based on the numbers, the repatriated.
But it's also very funny because there was not many Nigerians who left, but maybe the cost is more because they had to fly.
No, but didn't the Nigerian government charter the flights themselves?
Yes. But what I'm saying is it's very surprising to me. I didn't read the report.
Yes.
Why Nigeria is on that list. But I'm saying maybe because those that South Africa deported and incurred the cost and processing them, because it's not only the transportation cost, processing them, accommodating them at refugee centers, those temporary centers they created. But the Nigerians, remember, flying is more expensive than,
Sure.
than being in a bus and going to your own country. I doubt, if you ask me, I doubt if these countries are going to honor those bills.
But for instance, there's a SADC
As we are sitting here,
a convention happening as we speak, right?
in KZN, in Ethiopia.
What kind of tensions do you anticipate, given one, what happened at the AU with Ghana, Ramaphosa reading the Riot Act, talking about, the long and the short of it is you kind of illegality and condone illegality. So what kind of tensions do you envisage or anticipate this weekend?
Look, I think that there will be no tensions, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
What happened at the AU and President Ramaphosa reading them a riot,
Yes.
and saying, but you can't want us to take care of your problems.
Yes.
You are mismanaging your government, you are mismanaging your countries, and immigration must be a collective thing in the continent.
Yeah.
It can't be a responsibility of certain countries carrying the burden of other African states.
Can I give you an analogy quickly?
Yeah.
If my child keeps coming to your house at mealtime, why are you sending me the bill? If you're feeding my child.
If your child is strategic and comes during mealtime,
Yes.
very strategic. No, but this is a crisis. Remember, this came up as a crisis.
And but just quickly, Davido did an interview, I think, last week.
Yes.
And the interview asked Davido his thoughts on what's happening with June 30, the country and everything else. And Davido was very diplomatic. And he spoke about, I just want my Nigerian government to give our people no reason to have to leave Nigeria.
Yes.
Because he lamented the fact that every single country in the world that he goes to, his concerts are packed with his boys and homegirls.
Yes.
And that he looks forward to a Nigeria where you stay home because it's okay to stay home.
Yes.
Because everything is provided for.
And shout out to Davido, because it is making the country to be conducive to live in your country.
Yes.
And there's various reasons. People become refugees, asylum seekers, immigrants to other countries for various reasons. It could be economic reasons. It could be due to instability, political as well as military. We have wars everywhere in the continent. However, I don't think, going back to the question of the tension in the SADC meeting that's happening in the country at the moment, I think the tension was toned down during the AU meeting when Ghana, placed this on record. And South Africa responded to that. President Ramaphosa and Minister Lamola on various platforms, they've responded to this. It will be very embarrassing. And by the way, we are the host as South Africa.
Yes.
So you can't come to our land and tell us that we are ill-treating your illegal nationals.
Yeah, but it doesn't stop someone from coming here and being mungu or upset and sulky because you sent them a bill.
The bill, I don't think, diplomatically,
yes,
these three countries that have received the bill through their high commissions, they should table that matter in the SADC committee. It's a bilateral issue.
Yes.
Because why do you want, for example,
we must offline it,
Botswana and others to get involved in that discussion?
Yes.
In other countries, they I know some countries in Asia, and I know America has done it with Mexico to build them for cartels and illegal immigrants in the US, but there is no law, there is no bilateral agreement that it's courtesy. And I think if these countries are genuine about this whole thing, they should pay South Africa their monies, but I doubt if they will do that. If you didn't have money to feed your people and they ran next door, why would we have money to can now pay for them being transported back?
I don't know, that maybe it's the way I was raised as an African, right? That if my child, right, inconveniences you and you respond to that inconvenience, I don't know if I'm entitled to feel like you were wrong to deal with the inconvenience. If anything, it's for me to apologize first and then say, can we address this?
Yes.
Instead of grandstanding and making it about what it's not. Like I said, maybe I was raised in a different Africa where you must take responsibility for the actions of your children, your family, and anyone else that might step on the toes of someone else.
Yeah.
And remind them that when you are visiting people, you are flying your country's flag. Can you act in a way that your countrymen and women will look and say, you're doing us proud?
Exactly.
I don't think it's a big ask.
I don't think it's different from where African families, whether it's township villages, were brought up fresh. We used to go up playing street football or soccer. And at some stage, one will kick a ball and it breaks the window pane of a house next door. The family that time, or my father will stand up and wallop me, obviously.
He will admonish you on the side. He will admonish you.
But he will go also to that family and say, we'll replace that window, we'll fix it.
Yes.
My son admitted, and I was told.
Neighborliness.
Yes,
that's good neighborliness.
And I think these African countries, they should start behaving and conducting themselves in that manner. First, they must talk to their citizens to say, we understand the situation. You understand you are chasing greener pastures, but do it the legal way. Simple as that. We would have
represent your country with pride.
Yes, we would have not been here if these people had contacted them. South Africans and March and Operation Dudula and others, they would have not had a reason.
Absolutely.
To can protest and march against illegal foreigners, because there will be no illegal foreigners. And also you look at the magnitude, the numbers. You know, if it's 1,000 people who are here illegally, it happens everywhere in the world.
Yes.
You understand? But when you start talking 200,000.
Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah. And these are the ones who came forward fresh.
Yes.
These are the ones who said, I want to go back home.
Yes.
We haven't talked about those who did not go, who didn't come up, who said, we will stay here. And look, I'm traveling through the townships and cities of Joburg a lot these days. Everything's back to normal. I can tell you now, on Tuesday, there's a march in Soweto, a protest in Soweto next week, Tuesday. Because the people are saying those people who disappeared, who closed, who vanished into their back rooms are back on the streets.
That was actually my next question, the return rate. Because you might find that some people who went home took that opportunity simply because they couldn't afford to go home previously.
Yes.
So now I can go home, drop off a bit of money, clothes, groceries,
see family,
and come back.
Yeah, they will. I can tell you, half of the people that were transported to their respective countries in the last 5, 6, 7 weeks, they will be back in this country by the end of September. They'll be back, to continue what they've been doing. And why would they be back, legally or illegally? It is because the government did not put the resources on government departments and entities that would have curbed it. The Border Management Authority as well as the South African National Defence Force. The government did not give the Defence Force money to go in and man the borderline as it's supposed to be.
Sure.
They did not give the Border Management Authority money to say, Dr. Masia Pato, you have been crying that you are operating with a quarter of what you are supposed to be operating with. At least let's take it to half in order to aid you. And elements of corruption and criminality within our system, whether it's the police, whether it's military justice or border management, is another problem that we are sitting with. We actually create an environment and a platform for illegal activities to take place in our immigration process.
Sure. Yeah. Although a Pan-Africanist historian might argue that a lot of the Malawians that are here have come back home. Because if you know your African history, you'll know that during the time of King Shaka, King Sibitwani of the Kololo people took his tribe. They trekked from the south of South Africa. They trekked through the Kalahari Desert, middle of Bots, past Zim, and settled in the Great Lakes of Malawi.
Yes.
That's how far they ran. Women, children, livestock. So maybe they're just back home.
Then Julius Malema will be very happy with you to say these are colonial borders.
Yeah.
Let us remove these borders and live as one nation.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen fresh. I'm a Pan-Africanist to the core. I wish that could have happened, but I can tell you, in our lifetime, even in the next 100 years, there will be no eradication of colonial borders. It will not happen.
Because I am pro no borders and a single currency on one condition. Every single member of that union need to pull their weight.
Yes.
So that when people decide I'm going to go to another country, it's not in desperation. It's out of choice.
It's out of choice, yes.
Because otherwise then migration will be in one direction.
Yes. There is nothing wrong with that if you put modalities in place.
Yes.
On how we are going to have one passport, one currency, borderless Africa.
Yes.
Not physical borders out, but to say, if I want to stand up today and travel to Malawi, there'll be no hindrances.
Exactly.
I don't need any visa. My passport with the passport of a Malawian citizen is the same passport.
Yes.
We are the same. It cannot happen when there is inequality
Absolutely.
amongst the African people
Yes.
and the nations.
Absolutely.
I mean, we have inequality in South Africa, for example. I was having discussion with some guys this week about the city of Cape Town.
Yes.
It is almost relatively impossible for an average South African, black or white, to own property in Cape Town. Even white.
Yeah, they've been pushed out.
You understand? We are being pushed out of the city of Cape Town by foreign so-called investors who are coming with very strong currencies like the euro, the pound, and the dollar to buy properties in Cape Town. Now, if we suffer with inequality in our own country, how are we going to look at ourselves being equal to a Malawian or Zimbabwean or Nigerian? It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You look at a country like Nigeria, look at how religion and tribalism
Yes.
have divided Nigeria, because that's the biggest challenge in that country: tribalism and religion.
Yeah.
And it's going to be impossible. That's what I'm saying to people. It sounds nice to have a borderless Africa, to be one nation, as the Nkurumas, Sobukwes, and Picos of this world had wanted to. However, life evolved, things happened, and even very bad things happened, like tribalism, like racism. You understand? I mean, if you have a country where some people from one region of the same country look upon others differently, how do we unite the 54 member states of Africa?
Absolutely.
We must live to it that there will be no borderless Africa. It's a dream that we wish for, but because of inequality, inefficiency of governments, failures of governments, majority, fresh, we have 54 countries in this continent, I can tell you, 50 of them are dysfunctional. Dysfunctional, they can't take care of their own people. What does it do? It creates a room and a gap for former colonizers, for imperialists to come in and divide the nation further with material, equity, wealth, and all those things.
And that's why you can't necessarily blame the Sahel region for saying we've had enough.
Yeah.
Please leave us alone.
Leave us alone. Yeah.
We will see to finish.
Yes. And when did they start? It's about 3-4 years when the Sahel leaders stood up against France. And there's progress in those countries. And there's progress. Contrary to what we see in Libya and Morocco, where people are leaving their countries to go and try and run to Spain or other European countries. There's progress. We are still lucky in the southern part of the continent that we are moving amongst each other.
Yes.
There's no way. It's the sea. You know, if we are living in Namibia, South Africa, Mozambique is the sea. A lot of member states of SADC citizens, they don't move up, they move down in between the SADC member states. And we are still fortunate, but they need to manage this thing. I hope the SADC summit that is happening, it will come out with a resolution on how, and not just resolve and sign that document, the resolution of the SADC meeting or summit in South Africa. They must monitor each other. You know, the former president of Botswana, Khama, during when he had a fallout with President Mugabe of Zimbabwe.
Or for calling him out.
Yes, for calling him out. And none of the SADC member states stood up and defended Khama. And he was right.
I've only ever heard 2 African leaders calling out Uncle Robert.
Yes.
Only 2.
Yeah.
The one happened during the Summit for Sustainable Development almost 18 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it was 18 years ago.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember which East African president called him out to say, at some stage, we need to look at ourselves and ask ourselves on which side of history
That
we want to
was
be.
Paul Kagame.
No, it wasn't Kagame. It wasn't Kagame.
When there was also a fallout between Kagame and Mugabe.
Yeah, but before Kagame, this is during the Sustainable Development Summit that happened in Sandton.
Yeah.
I remember one of the African leaders was being interviewed, I think, on Talk Radio 702.
Okay.
He was the first African leader I heard call out President Mugabe.
Yeah.
And then after that, quiet diplomacy across the continent. And then Ian Khama also called him out.
Yes.
But generally, there's a broerskap of, yes, we're supposed to have a flipping peer review mechanism. That's never worked.
Yes.
It was just for show.
And look who was leading the peer review mechanism. It was President Mbeki and President Obasanjo of Nigeria.
Yes.
And a leader of Algeria, I forgot his name. They could not call President Mugabe, but what happened after President Mugabe? Look at all of them are doing the same thing. That's why they couldn't call him out.
Yes.
I mean, we have a president of Senegal. Is it Senegal where the president is living in France? But this old man who he can't think anymore, but he's living in France, getting medical attention. He visits, it's not Senegal, man. Eto, where does Eto come from?
Paul Biya of Cameroon.
Paul Biya of Cameroon, yes. Look at President Biya.
He permanently lives in Paris.
Yes.
Permanently.
Yes. And he's the president of Cameroon.
Yes.
Anyway, fresh. So let's hope the resolution of the SADC summit that is taking place this weekend will come with tangible and monitor after if the member states are complying to the resolution. There should be a monitoring mechanism. Don't just agree and you go and you sit back, you wait for another 3 years for another summit. There must be a monitoring mechanism. There must be compliance. That's why I like the counterpart of SADC, Southern African Development Community. I like the EAC model.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's one of the best models. Yes, people are saying it's easy with the East African community because it's about 6 countries only.
And they speak the same language generally also.
They speak
that also helps.
Swahili, that helps. But they've got a parliament,
Yes.
East African Community Parliament, that makes resolutions that are binding.
What does
member
SADC
states.
not have a parliament?
And we are one of the oldest. We are one of the oldest regional blocs. We are much more stable part of the continent. When you look at SADC, the member states, 15 of them, of which 2 are islands, there is no wars. There is literally political stability in SADC. Why are they not talking of having a SADC parliament that will pass laws of the region and bind member states?
I remember I was 8 years old when SADC was founded in Lusaka, Zambia,
Yes.
1980. And it was a big deal. In fact, my cousin's daughter was born that time. Her name is Sadeka.
Oh, okay.
Yes, hello, niece. Yes, her name is Sadeka.
African people who name it
Yes,
as
and she was named because of
the SADC
the
being
big
launched.
deal
Yes.
that SADC was in 1980.
Yes.
That here African leaders and countries coming together and saying, what can we do for one
work
another?
together and all that. And the base was there because if you recall, the front runner of SADC was what was called frontline states.
Yes.
The states that, team together and group up together in order to help liberation movements in Africa. That's why in the southern part of the continent. And they decided to formalize it because there was no longer, there was still apartheid South Africa, but the formation of SADC was good intentions, well planned. 1980, we're in 2026, and SADC hasn't achieved even 5 of their 10 objectives of that time. Understand? Simple currency, respect to other members of sovereignty, movement of people and goods between the member states easily. And it's look at where we are. We are SACU member state, Botswana, Namibia, Lesotho, Eswatini, and South Africa. 5 member states with SACU. Look how difficult it is. Albeit SACU, it's a custom union. It has to do with currencies as well as the movement of goods. But there are still problems. I don't understand what's wrong with our African leaders.
Because surely by now SACU should be seamless.
Yes. Actually, some of the achievements of SACU are being reversed for good reasons. For example, South Africa, you could drive your car from here to go to Botswana, Namibia, and Lesotho without having the ownership certificate or presenting your car before.
The car papers, yes.
Yes. Right now, South Africa has re-implemented that requirement to have the car papers due to the criminality of what is happening in the subcontinent. But as Africans, we sometimes shoot ourselves on our foot because of trying to fix things that are not broken at some stage. And it's a challenge we are faced with.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm very disappointed with the government, the way they reacted to this whole thing. But I'm very proud of South Africans that we arrived at this stage and there was no violence against any foreign national. And this protest, as they said, the protesters, they will continue with them until the government does the things right. And we need pressure. We need a rebellion or a peaceful rebellion in the country to make sure that the government does the things right.
So I've just done a quick Google ask. Of the 4 1980 SADC goals, only one has been achieved. Securing international cooperation.
Yeah.
It was truly achieved. The anti-apartheid dependence goal was overtaken when South Africa joined and became the bloc's biggest economy and current chair. Regional integration and resource mobilization remains half built, with intra-SADC trade stuck at 20% and the free movement protocol unratified after 21 years.
Yeah. Like I said, and imagine if free trade, if the movement of trade goods amongst the member states.
I would be cruising by now.
We are actually, and that actually says, and I don't know what the economy is saying, imagine that SADC member states are only dealing with each other 20%. Whom are we trading with?
How, guys?
Whom are we trading with?
Guys.
Why wouldn't I trade next door? It will be cheaper, faster. Whom are we trading with? Why are we importing beef from Australia and Argentina when Botswana is on the top 3 beef producers in the world?
Guys.
It doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't, Fresh. It doesn't.
Maybe it doesn't help that we don't all have the same colonial master. You see, there's also that.
No. But in SADC, it's only 2 countries. When you look more, so it's only Mozambique and Angola.
Namibia, I don't know, Germans. Germans.
Oh, yes. But the Germans didn't really run with Namibia the way the Brits and the Portuguese have done.
But they still have the fingers there.
Yeah. So, these ones, colonies, majority of SADC member states.
The Commonwealth.
Commonwealth members. They are dealing better with Britain going to play Commonwealth games, trading better than amongst themselves.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go to the Madlanga Commission.
Yes, sir.
KwaZulu-Natal, there are 149 deaths on file, 77 examined, and we're being told that many of these might have been extrajudicial versus self-defense, as media reports have said. There are reports that often reporters or social media people would know about the thing before even other police or IPID.
No, yes.
That they apparently something amiss. What's going on? Can you break it down, please? I'm very confused.
I would not know what's going on. You know, the police, I don't trust anything anymore that comes out of these people. But let me tell you the beauty of what the Madlanga Commission has brought up in the police. I still do not like that they are focusing mainly on the police when the allegation said the police, the prosecuting authority, and the judiciary. Why are they focusing mainly on the police? Because for me, it's a small fish. If you can capture a judge and you capture a police general, those are very similar. A judge is more senior to a police general and more dangerous to capture a judge. So I still needed to go to the prosecuting authority. I still needed to go to the judiciary. But this thing of KwaZulu-Natal, you know, the police force has been having very serious challenges and problems in KZN. There was the Cato Minor, what do you call it, Cato Minor thing, you know.
The Cato Minor
yes.
task team.
Task teams that were said to be murdering people and they were corrupt and all that. Now comes this task force in KZN that is under spotlight. Obviously, there has been media reports that, and it comes now. Some people look at it as if it's a fight back towards General Mukwanazi because he is one, the police commissioner in KZN. Two, he is the head or the boss of the political killing task team. And we have known, you know, like people make jokes on social media that criminals don't come and play in KZN. You won't come out alive. But these allegations that are coming from some of the retired police some of those who are in IPID or investigative authorities to say they've entered extrajudicial for killing some of the people. One question that I'd always ask is, how come we never have a situation where these alleged murdered criminals or unalived criminals have fired a shot? Most of the time, they're cleaned.
In fact, I think who was testifying at the Madlanga Commission? I think it was on Thursday.
Yes.
And he was lamenting the fact that at one scene, all of the shots were headshots.
Yes.
And then he was talking about it wasn't a gun battle. This was a massacre.
Execution.
It was an execution.
Yeah.
And so he was lamenting that as someone who deals with firearms, that there's no way that there would have been a skirmish and everyone is unscathed.
Now, the bigger problem, when you ask me to say what's going on, the bigger problem is why are these people unalived? And there's allegations now that are saying it's cartels. The allegations are the police are divided. It's criminal cartels, whether it's drugs, whether it's money laundering or robberies, are using the police to fight other gangs. So Botsang is a robber.
Okay.
And or a what do you call a drug dealer is fighting with Fresh, who's another drug dealer. So what do? We set up the police, we pay the police, we bribe the police, or we become friends with the police to can fight our battles with our rivals. That's some of the allegations that are taking place. I mean, the gentleman you were mentioning, I'm just forgetting the name. He was, and the other lady, they were mentioning on how one of the police generals was paid over 2 million. There's a paper trail, there's bank payment, even the bond, the house bond of that police general in KZN. The house bond was paid off cash by alleged criminal cartels.
I think it was Len Barnabas John from IPID.
Yes, it's the one who was testifying.
He took the stand on Wednesday.
Yes. And they were mentioning all those things. So infiltration of I don't think this happens only in KZN. Maybe the spotlight is there because it has been more at KZN where the police have used, hardline stands. Have taken hardline stands to unalive suspected criminals. Fresh, it's a complex situation. When we as a nation, we look at the number of policemen who are being killed on duty. 2 happened this week in Gauteng, in Boksburg. The Special Task Force anti-gang police officers heard a gunshot, and when they went to investigate, they were also killed. Now, men and women in blue will sit there and say, but what are we supposed to do when we are being killed by criminals and we are carrying firearms? Are we not supposed to, protect ourselves and then we go and we protect the communities that we are supposed to serve? But let's hope that this whole thing, I'm afraid it may open a can of worms. But let's hope that the Madlanga Commission and investigations into this whole thing that is happening in KwaZulu-Natal will not deter the police from doing their duty.
Yes.
For me, that's my fear.
And from defending themselves.
And from defending themselves, what should policemen do? The statement of an expert, Jacobas or whoever you mentioned, the statement for me to say, if there's a gun battle, and I said there'll be shots both ways. But if you murder people and their rifles and guns are lying there without firing one round, then it was not a battle. And I don't think it will hold water for the police to say, but they were armed, or we found arms in that room, and that's why we cleaned them out. It's a complex situation. Killing people has never been a right thing to do, and because people must face, criminality and courts and all that. But I hope the people in South Africa are not saying South African police must not defend themselves when they are faced with harsh criminals and hardened criminals. I mean, look at the example of cash in transit robbers.
Sure.
I always say those men who are driving those vehicles carrying cash or precious stones and all those things. They are fathers. They are parents. They are normal human beings who are at work.
Sure.
Now, you want to rob that vehicle to get money as a robber because that's your job to be a robber. Why do you unalive those people? Why do you kill them? And what are they supposed to do when they're faced with firepower? And they have to defend themselves.
Sure.
Because there's one thing that criminals know best. They don't care about life. And my question is, why should we care about their lives? But if this is done out of corruption and interfering with police work and infiltration of the police, then it is wrong.
Sure.
And let's hope this will not end with the Madlanga Commission.
Sure.
But the South African Police Service needs to be cleaned up.
Absolutely.
It really needs to be cleaned. The beauty about this whole thing of SAPS, if you look at what is happening, the sea is cleansing itself fresh.
Sure.
The police are getting pimpy. They are pimping other cops. The police are exposing other cops. The police are showing us records of how other cops are rotten. So it's a sea cleansing itself.
It's a battle. It's almost like a battle for the soul of SAPS.
Of SAPS.
And law enforcement.
And let them deal with each other. Well, I always say, if you want to know how dogs behave, become a dog. And it's nice that this thing, it's not judges and lawyers and politicians who are dealing with this. It's cop versus cop.
Sure.
As Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi said, General Mkhwanazi said, it's a policeman pointing a pistol to another policeman. And for me, that shows that it's a bigger battle. It's not just infiltration. It's a battle of something big within the police.
Yes.
If policemen are prepared to kill each other,
and all witnesses.
yes, and witnesses, then there's something bigger that is happening in the South African Police Service. I feel unsafe myself, actually, around police, because you don't know who's a good cop anymore. You don't know who's a good cop. One of the things I've adopted these days is I hardly drive at night, but one of the things that I've adopted is that should it happen that I'm on the road at night, I will not stop to the police. I will not. Even if it's blue lights or what, I will not. I will drive to the safest point, except if they take me out, that I will take out the white, handkerchief. I will drive slow, I put my hazards on, but I will not be stopped by the cops in the middle of nowhere, and I comply. I refuse to do that because I don't trust them.
Unfortunately, there's also people who are not cops that have managed somehow to secure blue lights and stickers for the vehicles.
For the vehicles,
so you're
yes.
also dealing with that also.
Yeah. I'll drive to the nearest safest point or to a police station and say, I'm in the police station now. Why do you want to stop me? But I hardly drive at night. I avoid driving at night.
Sure. We are running out of time.
Yes, sir.
But
Where are we?
But we must still run the story. Let's talk about the informal side of retail, I suppose. Some people call them Spaza shops. I don't like that name.
I don't.
Because Spaza, it's like waphazamisa.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the right English word for a Spaza shop. It's almost like a fake shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like a fake shop. So let's talk. Yeah, tuck shops maybe.
Look, tuck shop
or small retailers.
Retailers, yes.
There's a fund. 500 million rand, a fund meant for Spaza shops. Only 57 million of it has been delivered. What was the point of this fund and what's happening here?
If you recall what gave birth to that fund, it's when there was kids. It started in Naledi, Soweto. When kids started dying of food poisoning from food they bought and or consumed from the so-called Spaza shops. And it came out clear that most of this poison didn't happen only in Soweto. It spread all over the country. And as usual, the government reacted. And it came out that most of the food that our kids were consuming from these so-called Spaza shops or tech shops or what, they were not SABS approved, not the common brands we did, brands that we don't know, biscuits and cookies and chips that kids were consuming. Sorry, it calls on to question the food inspection.
Sure.
The consumption of food inspected by the Department of Health or municipalities or metros. Now, again, in reaction to do that, President Ramaphosa and the Minister of Small Business, Minister Ndabeni, they made a fund available to can aid these so-called spaza shops or informal businesses. I also don't like calling them informal because they are formalized. The fact that you give them a permit to operate that tech shop, you are formalizing it. I don't know why they're being called informal sectors, but to aid them to register and to follow processes, health protocols, and rebranding and repurposing of all these so-called spaza shops. It's been what now, 3-4 years? It's been actually 3 years now that money was made available. Less than 100 million has been used.
But whose fault is that?
The government is lamenting that most of the applicants to that fund, they do not meet the requirements. However, my argument to SEFDA, the Department of Small Business has an agency called SEFDA now. It used to be SEDA and another one. They merged them to be SEFDA. I think they made the process very complex for an ordinary, illiterate person to can comply. They've made it very complex to do that. That's my observation. You cannot remember the tech shops fresh. It was an alternative to unemployment. It was feeding families. These things are not entrepreneurs per se. And I was arguing with somebody a few days ago to say there's a difference between a self-employed person and an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur will have profit after covering all the costs. You have paid your salaries, you have paid your rent, you have done that, your running costs are covered, then you'll have profit. A self-employed person is a person that still eats from the money you are making from that spaza.
Yes.
And government is not aiding many successful economies in the world. Latin America and Asia mainly. If you look at Uruguay, Paraguay, Brazil, and you look at the Asian tigers, many of their economies, they are where they are because of small businesses. South Africa has potential. Fresh, I went to look at the figures. SARS says in the last financial year, they collected 1 billion from the so-called informal sector and spazas. 1 billion. That's what they managed to collect. Imagine where they failed to collect. The estimate and figures that comes out of the public protector's report. Remember, there was a public protector's report that investigated those deaths of kids. So they broadened it. The public protector's report is talking of spaza shops in South Africa having a potential of creating over 300 billion. There's the potential.
Yeah.
Remember, these monies are not accounted for because they are running informally. They are not registered. They don't go through banks. Banks have commented because some of these monies come via banks. If you look at how many of these informal spazas now or shops, they're having, what do you call this machine, the speed points.
Speed points, yes.
You understand? The majority of them have speed points of one bank or the other. The bank can see how many of those that are informal sectors are not banking the money or are using cash. And that cash is not banked, it's not going through tax authorities, and it's not reported to small business. And that's where the challenge is. If the government can simplify to regularize informal sector and spaza shops, simplify the entry. The majority of these people do not have the education level whereby they can do their tax returns and all those things. Make agents available of the Department of Small Business in townships and rural areas to aid those people.
Yes.
Don't expect somebody who's running a spaza shop in Alexander to travel to Pretoria to receive aid and queue the whole day. Business is stopping. Queue the whole day. Don't tell them to do them online because they don't have the capacity.
So you're saying reduce the hoops through which people need to jump?
Reduce that. Reduce that. Make it simple. Where there are rules and regulation and processes, make people available to aid the people to be able to comply. And also, there was a lament in South Africa that foreign nationals, especially Somalians, Ethiopians, and Pakistanis, they are, what do you call them? They are ganging up, or they are coming together to can buy bulk and help each other to run their businesses. And some people were arguing, why are South Africans not doing that? I've always said, you need capital. You need a startup to be able to do this whole thing. And I said, now, one of my arguments has been, fresh, people come to South Africa as asylum seekers or refugees. And they get integrated into our communities, whether semi-urban townships and rural areas. And suddenly they've got capital to can run 18 Spaza shops in one ward or one township. 18 foreign nationals running, they take over. If you are an asylum seeker or a refugee, where did you get the capital? Where did you get the money? I know that the United Nations, what you call Refugees Council or whatever, that board of UN, they've got stipends they are giving to people who are registered in every country as asylum seekers or refugees in order to survive.
Yes.
The foundations like the Helen Suzman Foundation and others, they've been helping refugees to get those stipends from the UN Refugees Council or Center for them to be able to survive. But that money is for you to eat and live. It is not capital whereby you can start up a business. Now, as a nation, if we are not going to investigate how foreign nationals who came here running poor with a suitcase or a plastic of clothes end up being entrepreneurs, that is danger. I'm not jealous of people establishing themselves well. I am saying our intelligence forces are supposed to be asking themselves, what put these people in a position where they are as a nation to can come and take over a tech shop of Bralos, a tech shop of Fresh, a tech shop of Brad Jamie, and all. They take them over. You know, I was telling somebody a story that we are forgetting. If you reflect back, how the Pakistanis came to South Africa and how it started. You know, these people, they started by selling blompot. What do you call blompot in English? You know, I never knew the flower pot.
Flower pots, yes.
Yeah. Flower pots and Persian carpets. They will come and knock at our gates. Carpets, this. It started there. Then suddenly they started giving what? Giving our parents those buckets and flower pots and carpet with credit. You'll pay month end. They learned that South Africans like credit. So we were indebted to them. Now, if you can't pay, they come and they say, hi, Mamwilwa, can I rent your backyard room since you can't pay?
Exactly.
Pay me by giving me space in your backyard room and you establish business. Understand? That's a smart way of doing things. But I am worried as a civil servant and a person who have lived in other countries to see how we made it easy as a nation for foreign nationals, legally or illegally, to come and operate businesses that were closer to the heart and the core of the people, that were the source of living for the people. It worries me that we failed to can manage that. Even if people are here legally, I'm one of the advocates of protected sectors of the economy. We need that.
Yes, sir.
There must be sectors of the economy. And I always use the two neighboring countries, Mozambique and Botswana. They've got laws that says these sectors of the economy are only allowed to be operated by the citizens of the country or permanent resident of the country. It's it's normal. It has nothing to do with xenophobia or hating foreign nationals. It's protecting and creating opportunities for your people, especially in the context of where unemployment, we received the statistics general.
Yes.
Earlier this week, almost 34% fresh. Maybe studying economics didn't help me. It doesn't make sense to me, fresh, that we are loaning money from everywhere every month. President Ramaphosa just got 8 billion from another loan last week.
Has the infrastructure?
Yeah, I don't care what is it for. We are loaning money everywhere. We you understand? However, I do not see, has somebody sat down and asked, all these trillions, billions and trillions of loans that we have been asking from all over, whether it's the BRICS Bank, Development Bank or what, we receive the money, the loan. What is it for? You just mentioned infrastructure. Where is the infrastructure? We can see the infrastructure in the country going up. What returns do we get out of that?
Okay.
How come we are loaning money, we're generating revenues for infrastructure as an example, or for health, but unemployment keeps on going up? Who is doing that infrastructure? Who is doing those jobs?
Yes.
Where is the benefit of the infrastructure we have created? How is it possible? You can't, when you go and you loan money from a bank to build a house, and people may say I'm simplifying this. Yes, I am. To build a house, after 6 months, we must see the house.
Yes.
Where your kids can live. Now, if you loan and after 6 months we still see the foundation, your kids still don't have a house, where is the money then? Where is the money going? We had money. The President Ramaphosa in his first term, I'll never forget that seminar, international summit for job creation. That was in Sante. People lost more jobs, but we had a summit with billions. Remember, billions came in from Saudi Arabia, everywhere. Where did the money do? Where's the money? I mean, you don't have to be an economist or a rocket scientist to can see that our economic situation is getting worse in the country. Infrastructure is collapsing. The city of Joburg, there were people in there. You know, this week I said to the 2 coldest days of this week. I think it was Tuesday and Wednesday. Or Monday, Tuesday. But the first 2 coldest days, at home, my sister, the whole of Rhino West didn't have electricity, and some people in the bigger parts of Joburg. And I said to them, when you vote on the 4th of November, you must remember that the 2 coldest days in Joburg, you did not have electricity.
Yeah.
You did not. And it was for various reasons. People were freezing. What kind of leadership and administration are we running that we can't deliver basic services? I see people have gone to the public protector now for water. The Human Rights Commission has come up to say, no, it's unbearable now that people don't have clean basic water, which is a human right. I said, the other mistake we did was to commodify some of the natural things in life. For example, why did we stand up and put water as a human right in the constitution of the country? When actually water, before it's a human right in the constitution, it's a source of living.
Yes.
The fact that we sat down and we had to put it in law to say, government, make sure people have water, when it's supposed to be natural that people have clean water.
Exactly.
You know, so we're sitting with a challenge. I mean, Zamazamas, the mines. One day you live in Joburg, one day you will wake up, there'll be somebody drilling under your house.
Yeah.
Anyway, but this thing of spaza shops or informal sectors,
micro convenience stores is the word we should be using.
Actually, I learned something this week and it irritated me. But yeah, do you know that the Department of Small Business, they've rebranded, they spent millions to change the name, what we have been calling them SMMEs. No, they don't call that anymore. It's been 2 months now. They've rebranded. They had to change letterheads. They had to change the logos. It's now called, they say, one, they are following international standards, which is correct. It's okay. They just played with the weights. It's now called MMSE or MSME. So they played, it's no longer SMME, small, medium, macro enterprises. Now it's called, they say, that's not correct English. Look at how we play with money. Now it's called, they say micro, it's smaller than small. So now it's called micro, small, medium enterprises. They just played with the words to say micro is smaller than small, small is smaller than medium. Therefore, let's change this thing and give Botsang a tender to rebrand and change the name of the organization and the letterheads and all that. Again, we are spending money on useless things. People are starving. NEFSAS is bankrupt. Kids don't have food. It's cold. People don't have electricity. And you go and you spend millions in changing a name. You are not a caring leader. You are not.
But also for the record, we must disclose that Botsang is a part of Action SA.
I'm a politician now.
You're a politician, and that's the debate we have every week before we record. That we now have a referee warming up on the sidelines.
No, Fresh. I'm not a referee. I'm in now.
Yes.
Either I've been a civil servant all my life.
Yeah.
And I've seen politicians messing up this country in front of me, and wrong people being appointed into key government positions who have no clue. I was saying to somebody, imagine having a municipal manager because he's a branch leader of a certain political party that is in power. And that municipal manager has to approve the plan and the work of a civil engineer.
Yeah.
How did we arrive at that? How did we arrive at, and that has nothing to do with me playing into politics now. Sure. But let's use logic. How do I expect somebody who has matric, who never studied even basic accountancy at Standard 6, to sit in a municipal council as a councillor and approve financial reports of a council? City of Joburg annual budget, it's 89 billion rands.
Yeah.
You have somebody who has or has no matric to be part of the people who are approving that budget, and we still expect things to function. We have to be blamed. And I'm not blaming any political party. I'm saying we as residents and citizens of this country, we are wrong. We are sitting with the Minister of Finance, who was found guilty by a court of law to have been involved in corrupt activities in the province of the Eastern Cape. He was actually even dismissed by the former premier. I forgot the name of the lady who was the premier who dismissed Godongwana, the current Minister of Finance, for maladministration. There's a court judgment against that. Now we take that person, we make him a Minister of National Government, the Treasury. How do we do that as a nation? Do we still expect things to work when we place people who there's allegations of maladministration, there's allegations of corruption? They also have no clue. Look at where we did things right. Look when we took Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma yesterday and made her the Minister of Health. Remember when the cigarette banning came? Didn't things work? Because she's a doctor of health. Look at Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi at second tenor at health. We even had at some stage 2 doctors, Motsoaledi and the late gentleman who was the Deputy Minister of Health. Remember, he passed on a car accident. 2 medical doctors leading the Department of Health in the Republic of South Africa. Does that not make sense?
Sure.
You understand? And now we go and we take a professor from the University of Sociology of Wits, we make him a police minister when the police are in a mess. When the police are in a mess. You take General Bantu Lomisa, who's a decorated military general. You make him Deputy Minister of Defense. And you take Me Njimutseha. If I'm not wrong, she's a social worker or a school teacher, an educator. You make a Minister of Defense, and we still expect things to work. I think we must change that as a nation. Put experts in their fields.
Sure.
Even if they are political appointees, can they at least be experts? And let the experts run our municipalities as well as our national departments. Experts. It's okay. You can deploy your bra. I mean, I don't say DJs cannot be politicians. We had a DJ as a head of state in Madagascar. and for many years, at age 10, he was the youngest.
Sure.
Head of state in Africa, and he was a DJ.
Sure.
So for me, that's where I want to see my country going towards that direction. We can fix this country, Fresh. We can resolve many things, many problems that are low-hanging fruits. They can be solved if we put the right people to right positions and we put ethical people as well.
Sure.
I think that's what the nation needs.
We have to run. But
Yes.
quick thing. The other day, former Minister of Education and of International Relations, Naledi Pandor, was on the African Renaissance podcast with Mbuyiseni Ndlozi.
Yes.
And she lamented the fact that she admits that approving maths literacy as a school subject was a major mistake and a disaster, to use the words she used. And she explained that she allowed officials to persuade her, which led to a massive drop in pure mathematics and pure mathematics enrollment as students opted for the easier alternative. And often a lot of schools would encourage kids to take maths lit so that they can increase the averages and the pass rate. What are your thoughts on her reflections?
Look, Fresh, that's why I'm saying politicians are very, very weird people. Lady Pandor is well educated. Now she admits it's too late. The damage is done. At the power, she's very educated. She had the political power, and she said she was persuaded. My question becomes, persuaded by who? Were they education expert? I remember one of the people who was highly involved in this whole thing was the former MEC of Education in Gauteng, Mary Metcalfe. She was one of the people who was involved in this whole. She still sits on boards of education advisory. But we dropped the ball in many things, not only in maths literacy. For Pandor to come and lament, and I think that podcast as well is being used by many former ANC leaders and employees and ministers to come and reflect on hindsight, because a week before that, it was Dr. Nkosazana Zuma talking about briberies in the ANC and all that. I don't know if them coming out and Lady Pandor coming out now, will it reverse the process? Will it change the mindset of the current minister? Will it correct the wrong decisions they've made? If that is the intention, to influence and correct the wrong decisions they've made, then it's good, then it's okay.
But what kind of environment does it create within the party, do you believe, that you might, by others, be seen as an ill-disciplined cadre?
Look, Vash, the party, the African National Congress, is fractured. It's divided into many factions, many bitter, angry people. Some are old, some are out in the cold. And I don't think they care anymore. I don't think it matters to them anymore. These are the people who are in their 70s. And I don't think the party disciplining them will have an impact in their lives. Understand how is the ANC going to call Pandor for a disciplinary hearing for such things? They can't, because he was there. But I'm telling the truth. You want me to suppress the truth? And this is where party politics have done the nation wrong, because many of them, you remember even with the Nkandla saga, many of them defended the party position or the president or the leader only after some came out and said, hey, but we were wrong, we should have not done that.
Yeah, but we had to tell already, because we must do the party line.
But that's where the party defends the wrong, it is not good for the nation. You know, in a proper democracy, it's when you can call each other out to say, but my brother or my leader or my comrade, what we are doing is wrong. You know, that can take this country very far.
Yes.
If they can call each other out without fighting. Understand? I mean, look at how the looting of government resources are happening. Money is there. It goes to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 companies. They don't deliver. And when you look at the benefactors of those companies, it's the leaders of political parties or their relatives. And they're not calling each other out. What they do is, they're queuing for it's my turn to eat. And that's a problem.
Sure.
It's my turn to eat. You know, I'm running for a political office. Let me tell you, there was a Black Business Council meeting this week, a 2-day summit. I attended that meeting. I'm not a politician. I'm not in office. I'm campaigning. I'm running. Do you know people will come to you and tell you that, hey, MMC candidate, but we have this thing in control. I'm talking about people from other political parties. You are coming in, we know we are going to lose you guys. It's clear that you're going to. But when you are in there, here's a blueprint. I come and fix this, that building, that. You have a political party. It is in power. It's failing. You are part of it. You failed. Do you think me will take your advice on how to run the office when I come into office? Why don't you use those ideas in your party? I asked one person, why don't you tell your party is in power? The mayor of this city is your party. why don't you go to your mayor and present this, or your MMC or your councillor and present this? No, those ones, they won't listen because they are not eating. Then I get a person to say, oh, the issue here is eating. It's not saving the people. You understand? And that's the challenge. I mean, I feel sad. Well, it's good when people have a moment of reflection.
A Damascus moment.
Yes, a Damascus moment like Mena Lady Pando. But let's hope those that are in charge, in power, the Buti Manamela, as well as the DA Minister of Basic Education, they will now try and see how they can do this. You earlier mentioned that some schools push kids to do that. I saw it with my second son. The 1 year he did bad in maths, the school actually automatically put him to maths literacy.
Instead of inspiring him and pushing him.
Yes, instead of pushing him. And the school will say, no, if you didn't get a certain percentage in maths, like if you get less than 30%, the following year you will have to change or do maths literacy.
Or you can inspire me to do better.
Yes.
Push
Take
me.
extra lessons, push me. I was a very bad math student. I think I was on the top 10 bad math student at school. But you know what I did and what my parents did? They took me to the vet Saturday schools. There was that gentleman.
Star schools.
Yes, the Star schools.
I sponsored quite a few kids at Star schools between 98, 99 and 2000.
Yeah.
So I would personally sponsor the kids to go for that.
So I had to wake up Saturday morning.
Yes.
And go to the vet Star school.
All the way from the West End.
All the way from the West End to try and improve my maths. You know, my mom will spend the last cent for me to be on the train to go there. I forgot the name of the gentleman.
The schools should be doing this.
This is what the government should be doing. Extra lessons. Let's take the freshers who know maths to come and volunteer to help our kids. That's what we're supposed to be doing. No, instead, we create an alternative of the DOM Botsang.
Yes.
You say, DOM, Awiti Met, Canada.
Sure.
And we can't run the country like that. We can't run a system of education like that.
We need to go.
Let's go home fresh.
But also, if Botsang is struggling at maths and you can inspire him and rewire him to get there, you're rewiring him for bigger things in life, not just for maths.
Yes.
So we don't throw people away. Make a bit of an effort.
They threw me away. I'll never forget a maths teacher. I won't mention his name. He told me I'm hopeless.
We are hopeless with time. Let's go. Where do we find you on
fresh
social media?
To the followers and the viewers at Botsang M on all social media handles.
Okay.
And +2783 8847787 on WhatsApp. You can continue chatting and engagements.
Great stuff.
Thanks, my
Brother
brother.
B, thank you so much. And we will see you on next week, Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
Yes, sir. Coming to you from Discover TV in West Johannesburg. This has been another episode of Wow What a Week. #Politricks. Discover TV. Let them be your stage. Keleso Modisa Gang is our executive producer. If you'd like to get in touch with her, you can email waw@africapodcastnetwork.com because we are part of the Africa Podcast Network. A shout out to Trevor and his crew at Pezulu Works for all of the cinematography. Most importantly, you and the people that you share with and have discussions with about each and every episode of Wow What a Week. #Politricks. Please keep commenting, having debates, agreeing, disagreeing, agreeing to disagree, but hopefully respectfully trying to find one another. That's life. Contestation of ideas amongst other things. Until next week, have a wow week in spite of yourselves. We are out of here.